Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a source he shared, a story called Frank and the Lost Men of Isle 6. Uh, it sounds simple, right? Just a grocery run.
Yeah, but it's really surprisingly full of insights about, dealing with complexity, information overload,
Yeah.
stuff we all face.
Exactly. So our mission is to unpack Frank's, adventure. Why did this simple list, his wife's list, turn into this epic quest?
Right. We'll get into the overconfidence at the start, the actual items, milk, eggs, parsley, crackers.
Oh, and the G-fill fish, can't forget that.
Definitely not. And how he meets this helpful character. It's just a great little story, kind of funny, but it really shows what it feels like when a straightforward task suddenly goes sideways.
Totally. It's that feeling of being lost in the weeds, or maybe lost in the aisles in this case.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Frank gets the list from Carolyn, his wife. The source says it smells like hand lotion and cinnamon, which is a nice detail.
Yeah, and the list itself seems pretty basic. Milk, eggs, parsley, crackers, bread.
Ah, but the bread. There was a crucial instruction there. Oh, right. Do not crush it. That was key.
Key is putting it mildly. She apparently said, if it comes home looking like a collapsed lung, oh no. So, no pressure.
Ah, yeah, right. And Frank, his reaction. Pure confidence.
Ah, total confidence, puffed right up. 6 things, I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Which, the source points out, might have been the first clue things wouldn't go smoothly, especially given Carolyn's view of his shopping abilities.
Yeah, the story contrasts them really well. She's like a bumblebee, apparently. Just zips through, focused, done in like 12 minutes.
Whereas Frank, on a previous trip, well, the story says he ended up sweating next to the frozen spinach, clutching his chest.
Yeah.
He did a nap afterwards.
So maybe not a 10-minute mission then.
Probably not. So armed with the list and maybe a bit too much optimism, he heads into the store.
The arena, King Cullen, the source calls it the Lion of Long Island grocery stores.
Yeah, and it has this legend, right, that it's where men just wander like bewildered astronauts dropped onto the surface of the moon. Sets the scene perfectly.
It really does. So he gets there, 10:03 a.m. By 10:04, the mission hits turbulence. First item, milk.
And immediately he's lost. Adrift in dairy, the source says, just staring at this wall of choices.
It's not just milk, is it? It's whole, 2% oat. We're milking grains now. That feeling of, when did this get so complicated?
Exactly. That's the information overload right there. It takes him 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Just to find the right red cap milk.
The one that always looks slightly disapproving? Great line.
And he had to ask another guy for help. A guy who was lost in the butter section. So yeah, even finding milk isn't simple here.
Okay, so milk. Check. Eventually. Next up.
Eggs. He figures, logically, they're near the milk.
Makes sense, right? But nope. King Cullen plays by its own rules. He has to wander past cheese, lunch meats, yogurt tubes, finally finds them in aisle 5.
L5.
And then boom, another wall of choices. Cage-free, pasture-raised, large, jumbo, enriched, sentient.
Sentient eggs. I mean, it perfectly captures how ridiculous the options can feel. It does. He's so baffled, he actually texts Carolyn, asks if she wants eggs that are ethical, enormous, or just emotionally stable.
Did she reply?
Nope. Radio silence. So he just grabs the fanciest carton and hopes for the best, hopes it doesn't contain memoirs.
The egg situation really shows that decision paralysis, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Too many options just freezes you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But just as he's sort of spiraling,
Yeah.
help arrives.
Yes. Enter Maya.
Right, Maya, the teenage clerk.
Right.
The source describes her stocking granola bars like a snack librarian, very calm, very observant.
And she spots Frank, sees his wide-eyed stare, half confusion, half spiritual surrender. She knows the look.
She does. And Frank manages to ask for the next item, parsley.
And Maya, like this gentle oracle, points him to aisle 7, but crucially, she gives him a warning.
Yes. Just don't fall for cilantro. It's sneaky.
Which is vital, because that aisle is described as a jungle of green. Parsley, cilantro, dill. They all look kind of similar if you're not sure.
He even overhears another guy nearby warning someone, don't trust the curly one. It's clearly a common problem.
So Frank picks the flattest, most humble bunch, hoping he got it right.
Maya's specific advice there, it's exactly what the source is highlighting. You need someone who knows the terrain to cut through the noise.
Definitely. And he really needs that help for the next item. Crackers.
Oh, the cracker aisle. Aisle 9. Dubbed the crater of indecision.
Sounds about right. A fluorescent canyon filled with, what? Multigrains, sourdough, low sodium, cracked pepper, fig infused.
Just endless options. And Frank is just standing there blinking. Like a lunar tourist without a map. Total paralysis again.
You can just picture it. Frozen.
But then, like a spirit guide, Maya shows up again.
He's guardian angel of the grocery store.
Pretty much. And she doesn't just point. She gives them the exact coordinates. Green box, rosemary sea salt, third shelf, bam.
Precision. That's what cuts through the chaos. And her explanation is great, too.
Yeah, I track husbands. You're my data set. She's seen it all before.
It's funny, but it really lands the point about how common this experience must be in that store. Frank whispers,
May the shopping gods bless you.
Totally earned.
okay.
Okay, so crackers secured. Just 2 tricky ones left.
Gefilte fish and the don't crush it bread.
Right. So aisle 12 for the fish. The kosher kingdom.
And the description of the fish itself, a bit unsettling.
Yeah, suspended in jelly. Looking back at them, a jar that screams, traditional Jewish holiday. And slightly frightening.
He picks the one that looks least haunted. Mission accomplished on that front. A specific, potentially intimidating item found.
And finally, the bread. With that big warning hanging over him.
Do not crush it. This wasn't just about finding it. It was about careful handling. The final boss, maybe?
Sort of. He approaches the bakery like a SWAT officer, checks the softness, crust quality, and loaf confidence.
Loaf confidence. I love that.
He picks one with firm size and a respectful posture, and then he carries it. How do they say? Cradled it like a newborn.
He wasn't taking any chances. Okay, so he has everything. He heads to check out.
And guess who's there?
Maya, of course.
Yep, she just raises an eyebrow.
Yeah.
You made it. Acknowledging the journey.
He confirms his victory. All 6. Even the fish.
She asks about the bread, the fragile item.
And Frank holds it up, like the Holy Grail. Declares it untouched. Success.
And Maya gives him the perfect send-off. You may leave the lunar surface.
Nicely tying back to that whole bewildered astronaut theme. But the story isn't quite over as he leaves.
No, there's that last bit. He sees them. The lost men.
Right. 3 other guys in similar states of distress.
And the source gives specifics. One guy muttering, cilantro, cilantro.
Oh.
Proof Maya's warning was needed.
Another one just frozen in salad dressing, whispering at vinaigrette. More decision paralysis.
And the third, rotating slowly in the olive section like a confused Roomba.
Oh man, those images really stick with you. They make Frank's struggle feel, well, universal in that context.
Definitely. So he gets home an hour and 11 minutes later, not quite 10 minutes.
Just a bit off. Carolyn's reaction.
Predictably, an eyebrow raise. Did you fall into a portal?
But then she checks the goods. The gefilte fish, impressive. The parsley.
The correct parsley, not the sneaky cilantro.
Yes, and the bread.
Like it just left the bakery.
Yeah.
Intact. Uncrushed. She's genuinely impressed.
And Frank's explanation sums it all up.
I had help. And possibly a spiritual awakening in aisle 9.
Which earns him his new title from Carolyn.
Her brave little moonwalker. Perfect.
So the story ends with Frank joining this silent fraternity of the lost men of King Cullen.
Described as heroes without compasses, dragged into orbit by a list and the ghost of crushed loaves past. It's funny, but it captures that feeling of being overwhelmed perfectly.
And it circles back to Maya, watching, guiding, documenting these guys, like humans who'd just woken up in a crater on the moon trying to find crackers before the oxygen ran out.
So yeah, this whole deep dive into Frank's trip, it really uses this simple, funny story to show how everyday stuff can get incredibly complex.
Right. All those choices, the milk wall, the egg labels, the cracker canyon, the sneaky cilantro, they're just great examples of that modern problem, information overload, decision fatigue.
And the crucial part is the value of a guide. Like Maya. Someone who actually knows the system, who can give you that specific, actionable advice you need. Without her.
You're whispering at the vinaigrette or spinning in the olive aisle.
Exactly. Which kind of brings us to the final thought, building on the source.
Okay.
For you listening, think about your own life. Where do you hit your King Cullen moments, your own craters of indecision? Maybe it's online shopping, maybe it's learning something new, maybe it's a project at work.
Right, anywhere with too many options or confusing paths.
Yeah. So the question is, in your world, who are the Mayas helping you navigate those deep dives? And maybe more importantly, how do you find them?
Something to think about.